Hey all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly value, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hello, how we doing? Okay, so the unfortunate story that we're about to cover is actually a perfect segue into when I was talking about weeks ago, maybe like a month ago, the abuse that these so-called mothers, and I use that term very loosely, visit upon their children when nobody's looking. They're able to make up stories and convince people not to look further into things, whether other people's hackles are raised or not. Doesn't matter if it rings a bell to them or doesn't sit right with them. We're dealing with a lot of apathy in society, even among people who are blood related. They will settle for whatever story is given to them about something, many times because they may not be prepared to respond properly once the truth is out. Because a lot of times with things of this nature that we are going to cover, actions have to be taken. You aren't just able to say, oh, wow, that's crazy. You can't hit them with the that's crazy. You're going to have to open your home, open your wallet, open your resources, open your time. And a lot of people just are not prepared for whatever reason. Maybe they don't want to do it. Maybe they don't care to do it. Maybe they think they're not able to do it. Whatever the case may be. Let me just get to the story. So I'm going to read it, and then I'm going to play a video because I want to read it first. That's what I want to do. I'm not going to play this video that's here. I'm just going to read the article that's here. Okay. Hopefully you all can see it. Those of you who can, you can read along. A Michigan individual was charged with first-degree child abuse on Wednesday for allegedly abandoning her children for several years, leaving them in deplorable condition, according to the Oakland County Sheriff's Department. They changed it. They put her name up there. Because at first they ain't put her name up there. Kelly Bryant, 34, from Pontiac, Michigan, allegedly deserted her 3 children, a 15-year-old boy, 2 daughters, aged 12 and 13, for approximately 4 to 5 years, leaving them to live in squalor. Throughout my extensive career in this field, I have never encountered a scenario as dire and prolonged as this, involving abandonment, neglect, and abuse of the highest order. Sheriff Michael Bouchard said in a statement. Bryant is facing the most serious of child abuse, the most serious charges of child abuse, and is facing up to life in prison, according to prosecutors. Prosecutors said on Wednesday that Bryant was living at the home with 4 of the children in 2019. But at some point between 2020 and 2021, it was 2020. Oh, it was when the pandemic was happening. I'm gonna tell you how I know that. She moved out of the house, abandoning her children, while abandoning 3 of her children, while the 4th went to live with their father. See, they updated this article just from a few hours ago when I read it. Oh boy. Bryant instructed the children to never answer the door nor leave the house. Officials said the boy only came out twice, once to feel the grass, another to check the mail. They were discovered on Friday afternoon when deputies received a call from the landlord to perform a wellness check. The landlord was concerned about the residents because he hadn't heard from the mother since December and had not received any rent since that October. When deputies arrived on the scene, they found the children in the home alone in a horrific condition. In some rooms of the house, garbage had piled up to 4 feet tall, along with mold and feces found around the residence. The tub and toilets overflowing with excrement, the authorities said. The mother only dropped off trash bags, gloves, and Febreze back in 2020. When police entered the home with the landlord, the daughters were hiding, while the son was hiding the girls were hiding in the bathroom. The son was hiding in another room. It appeared that they were unfamiliar with how to use personal hygiene items and how to clean the toilets. The boy told authorities he and his sisters had been living alone since 2020 and that the 3 of them survived on prepared food delivered once a week. Officials said companies like Instacart and DoorDash were delivering the food, not knowing that the kids were inside. So this trick wasn't even coming on her own. She wasn't even showing up once a week. She was sending these Instacart and stuff like that to the door. And a lot of times those people don't come in. Sometimes they'll just leave your stuff without the door even opening. I used to do Instacart. And if the people didn't come out to like get their stuff while I was delivering it, I would just deliver it on their front stoop. Take a picture of it, mark it as delivered, and leave. I didn't never knew who was in them houses unless they came out. Authorities say the children were only receiving a loaf of bread that was supposed to last 3 or 4 days. The boy told authorities he had been in contact with his mother, but it appeared that she had not seen the girls in years. Kind of reminds me of the commercials you see where the animals live in deplorable conditions, but take that times 10. The children had not attended school since their abandonment, passing time by playing games. When discovered, the children were wearing soiled clothing, matted hair, toenails several inches long, making it challenging to walk. The boy slept on a mattress. The girl slept on pizza boxes. Children told authorities they were afraid of how Bryant would react if they ever left the home. This is key. I'm going to explain something to y'all after I'm finished. The woman was found at another location. She living her best life and arrested without incident. She told authorities that the father of children was not involved in their lives. Officials confirmed on Tuesday that the father had been incarcerated for a period of time and did not have contact with the children, but upon his release, ended up filing paperwork for visitation rights, but the mother would not allow him to see the children. Neighbors were not aware of the children's living conditions, told authorities they only saw the mother dropping off stuff at the house. Family of the children was also unaware since the mother told them the children were with babysitters. Everybody's upset. That was from one of the neighbors. Bryant remains in custody at Oakland County Jail. Prosecutors are advising the court to terminate her parental rights. Detectives determined there were no other accomplices. The children were examined at a hospital for evaluation, appearing to be in, good health, quote unquote, and have been placed in the custody of a relative via CPS. Bouchard said the far-reaching consequences of this abuse must be acknowledged, and the department plans to figure out how the children fell through the cracks on so many levels. with the relatives, the communities, and the school. We look forward to presenting the case to prosecutors and ensuring that she faces the consequences of her actions. The community has donated clothing for the children. Authorities confirm a financial donation will be set up as well. I want y'all to understand something. Because some people are saying, well, they was old enough to make a move. Chronologically, yes. But I want to explain the level of psychological abuse that is primary over the physical abuse, the neglect, and things of that nature. If it was 5 years ago, that boy was 10. The 13-year-old was 8. The 12-year-old was 7 when this started. Okay? So, not 15 the whole time, okay? 10. You could guarantee that she did not teach them any life skill. I have seen children being raised 12 or 13 that cannot make oodles and noodles. They can't. They'll burn your house down with it. And you can put them in the microwave. They don't know not to put metal stuff in the microwave. You understand what I'm saying? They don't know not to put spoons and forks and aluminum foil and stuff. They don't know that. They don't know you can't do that. No life skills. Don't teach them how to wash no clothes or to clean properly. Them kids probably kept that house clean as they could for as long as they could, but after a while, without a deep clean, it get crazy. Then at one point, the water was off. So no water. Anything that go wrong in the house, they was afraid to say something about it. Just like that other lady last year, I did a story where she had left her kids in the house by themselves and she moved to another state. And every once and again, she would send for some Uber Eats or something like that. They daddy lived in another state and she dared them kids to say anything. If the girls were 7 and 8 when she left them, they did not even know how to handle their periods. They are 12 and 13 now. Most likely both of them now adolescent and on their periods. They didn't even know how to use no hygiene products and didn't have no access to them. The oldest is a boy. He ain't never had no period before, and he wouldn't have known what to do with them when they had their period. They probably had zero idea of what was going on with them. Stomach hurting, cramping, back hurting, and now they bleeding. Probably thought it was a medical emergency. He was too scared to call a doctor or call an ambulance. Why, Crimson, would they still be scared? I'll get into that in a little bit. She left them kids in 2020. That boy, he just can't really recollect it too good. She left them during the pandemic. She didn't want to be quarantined with them kids. She had 4. The one she sent to the other daddy. These 3 she was trying to off them because she don't like that man, the dad. Whoever he was in jail and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so she probably never tell him nothing. So while he was in jail, he didn't know nothing. He didn't know nothing. Okay. The man, because I can guarantee you she lived with a man. She's somewhere with a man. Okay. Now, because that man is not the father of them kids, or none of her kids, believed any story she told about why they don't never come to the house and stuff like that, or he don't never see her with them. So he either was the kind of guy that said they can't dot the door, or if he wasn't that kind of guy, he just wasn't too overly concerned about children that didn't belong to him. He figured she got it. You know, however she handling her kids. Because, you know, these chicks tell you quick to leave their business alone with their kids. Their kids ain't none of your business. So he might not have even been able to ask too many questions before she got smart and started arguing. So even if he did say, well, you know, where your kids at, or whatever the case may be, she probably gave him a bunch of songs and they live with my mama, whatever, they with their daddy, whatever she said, you knew it was a lie. She had a story for everybody. She had a different story for everybody. And then she, one of them chicks, dare you to keep asking her questions, she gonna go off. She gonna go off. And you don't want to hear her mouth. So you figure, you know, I guess the kid's all right. Although it looked like a red flag. So whatever story she told that man, he said, well, whatever. Okay. You know, he let it be whatever she said at face value. But that was a pandemic thing. She found her dude to quarantine with, and not them dang kids getting on her nerve. Because if you remember, when the pandemic was going on, it was a lot of Black women that started taking to social media, pulling their hair out, crying, and like enraged that the children could not go to school and get away from them. I distinctly remember at least 2 different video stories. They weren't news stories. It was just, you know what I'm saying, like Instagram stuff. And this one woman, she was like shaking with rage. She was like, somebody had better get them because I'm going to do something to them. She said, I am sitting outside, so I don't do nothing to these kids. And she was saying, she was like, they not even like doing nothing particular. I can't take it. They usually be in school. It's been months now. And we got a quarantine. I can't send them nowhere. I can't, and all of that type of stuff. Hey, how you doing, Hamp? So you know that any child that was getting regularly abused at home, and then that pandemic hit, ante up the abuse times 10. Because the frustration of having to be quarantined with them sent these abusive mothers into overdrive. They was knocking these kids off. And the children must have been terrified because school was the refuge. School was the refuge. Now I got to be cooped up with this monster that don't do nothing but terrify me and beat me and talk crazy to me all the time. Talk crazy to me all the time. Every time I turn around, it's a beating, waiting, or some other thing. And they do this stuff when the children are very young. Okay? Please do not underestimate the sadomasochistic abuse, torture it comes to. It's anything from benign neglect to actual literal torture. Literal torture. I don't mean proverbial torture. I don't mean an extra whooping. I'm not talking about that. I am talking about flat out, I will beat you black and blue. I will break bones. I won't feed you. I'll lock you away for days and tell a story about you when folk ask about you. Any instinct within the children to survive, to try to get out, is thwarted by the manipulation of a child's innate desire to still love their mother, regardless of what their mother do, especially when they are little children. So what these hyenas will do is they'll beat them. They will, the psychological abuse, the physical abuse punctuates the psychological abuse. The psychological abuse is ongoing 24/7. They don't get no rest. Do you understand? I know it's hard to wrap your mind around it. If you've never been a victim of these things, it's difficult to think about. But I guarantee you it's true. I promise you. These children don't get no rest. They don't get no reprieve. School, maybe. Keeping them from their fathers or other family members that may help save them is done meticulously, and it is orchestrated as much as they can down to every detail. And what they can't think to cover, when whatever track they can't think to cover, they threaten the children's lives over it. I'm not being hyperbolic at all. You may think I'm trying to be sensational. I'm not. I mean this literally. I mean it in everything I'm saying. I mean in a literal fashion. I am not speaking metaphorically. They threaten the children's lives, or they'll threaten the oldest with the lives of the young ones. If you tell, if you do this or that, if you show your face, if you go anywhere, if you call anybody, I'm gonna off that one. So now the oldest child may not have so much fear for themselves. They do, but they probably would be able to kind of push past that. But what they now have taken the protective stance over their siblings. So this is likely what's happened with this boy. He's the oldest and he's a boy. She gotta threaten his life. She have to threaten his life. And the physical abuse has to punctuate and drive home to him that she'll do it. She can't leave a doubt in his mind that she'll off him or all of them, or his siblings or all of them. She have to make him believe that. He didn't have no doubt that she would, that if he did anything and didn't have a plan that included saving them from her, he would not do it. That is why he didn't go nowhere. That's why he didn't tell nobody. Because in his mind, he could not think of how do I, even if I tell the police, or if I tell the school, or if I tell somebody in authority, do they have enough authority to keep her away from us, because she'll delete us for this. This is an offense that'll get us killed. And we don't need to be in her care at all. For any amount of time, she'll do it. So we don't need to call a family member that ain't going to do nothing but get on the phone with her. Yeah, I got them. And if she come over to the house to come get them, that family member not going to die for them. She going to hand them over. Go on here with your mama. And that'll be the end of them. Or close to it. Because hyenas like to do that. They'll see the children in such dire condition. And then, you know, in their mind, it can't be that bad. In their mind, the mother wouldn't do the ultimate thing to them. She was trying to do it. She was trying to off them kids in a way, you know, where she didn't have to necessarily get her hands dirty. And I mean like in a physical way, like physically go over there and off them. When I say that these individuals are demons, I mean that with every fiber of my being. So if you want to think on, well, why this boy and why them kids, you know, they old enough to make a dash for it. Not in their minds, they wasn't. It wasn't about age. It was about living. See, this way, even in the squalor, she might not kill them. Yes, Welt. Chronologically, they got older. Mentally, they were still 10, 7, and 8. They had not developed. And then it's Stockholm syndrome. These demons manipulate a child's innate desire to love them anyway. They love bomb. They engage in the customary cycle of abuse. The love bomb, the devalue, the abuse, the honeymoon, the love bomb, the devalue, the abuse, the honeymoon. They do this to their children. They do this to them. The children develop both an aversion to their tormentor and a fierce sense of trying to protect them as well. They want to protect their tormentor because they'll beat you. And in a little while later, they'll hug you and feed you and be nice to you. Leaves the child in a state of confusion. Because on the one end, they're terrified. And on the other end, maybe their mom will love them and be their mom. It's an interesting thing. Most children who've been abused, specifically by their mother for an extended amount of time, pretty much all of their childhood or for as long as their mother have access to them. They have a hard time grasping and accepting that the monster that they see is that person. It is them. That is who they really are. The other person that pets them up or says that they love them or smile at them, that's the mask. That's the facade. That's the fake one. The real one is the one that torments you, berates you, all day tell you you're nothing and you're stupid and you're ugly and I'll off you and nobody love you and I don't love you and I wish you was never here. I'm gonna make sure you're not here. I'm gonna make that. That's what you hear. And they take joy from it. They take joy from this. This is not something that they regret later, because they'll never have accountability for it. They'll tell you it's your fault, or they'll tell you that they didn't experience it like that. There's no accountability for it ever. Never. They'll take it to their graves. As a child, you're afraid to tell even the closest people, even the people that you know would help you, because you'll lose them too. It's why a lot of times the children will not tell their fathers, even if the father is there and shows concern to them. They know that their father will help them, but they also know that they will lose him. They will lose him to jail or death. And then they will have no one. So they rather keep it in and maintain like their dad for the refuge, but they won't tell them. They won't tell them. I didn't tell mine. I just didn't do it. I knew what he was going to do. I knew it. I knew that if I sat him down and explained to him even a fraction of what was being done, I would have never seen my father free again. I would have never seen him free. And then we would have had no one. He suspected so much. He begged us. We would not. So he would always come, or he would take us, or he would, And the only reason things were not even worse than what they were is because of him. Because she was scared of him. These are the things you wouldn't believe how common. We're going to talk about the commonality. But after these messages. We'll be right back. I want everyone to go to ashkicking.com. The link is pinned to the top of the chat. So please go ahead to the website, pick yourself up and your friends and family some of this wonderful body butter. I love this stuff, by the way. It's such a wonderful creamy. It's really creamy. It's not tacky. It's not greasy, and it's not heavy. And that's the thing that I look for in body butters. And I know a lot of people feel that way as well. It just soaks right into the skin and leaves it smelling really nice and actually feeling really nice for hours at a time, pretty much all day. So once you get out of the shower and all of that, and you put that on, you really don't have to moisturize at all the rest of the day. So this is wonderful. You really need to go to ashkicking.com and pick this up. If it's going to be your first order, please take advantage of the 10% discount using the promo code Crimson at checkout. Once again, the link is pinned to the top of the chat, ashkicking.com. Oh, you guys are bam, 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 bam. You got to hit the like button. Bam, bam. You got to go ahead and hit the like button. Let me get to these super chats. Thank you, HVAC. So this is why Crimson said the Black community is cooked. Is this what the kids have to face in the future? If that's the case, the future is doomed. Thank you, Too Tall says she dehumanized her own children. Exactly. Dehumanize is the perfect word for that. Thank you, KW Don. So have you heard about the story of the BW who beat her 14-year-old son to death for not doing chores while the stepfather did nothing to intervene? I don't think I heard of that. Thank you, Marshawn, for the super sticker. I appreciate you. Thank you, Your Excellence, for your super sticker. I appreciate you as well. Thank you, Pharaoh. That saw a story on a BWSA her son because she didn't have a man for Valentine's Day going to Asia. Hyenas can fall with their oppressors. Thank you, Supreme 10. When those children pass away, the mothers will cry fake tears in front of the media. They will. The commonality of such abuse cannot be overstated. I don't know that there are any accurate numbers for the Black community for abused children. But what you can do is when these stories come up, see how many people they resonate with, the men and the women. See how many get triggered by it. And I don't mean triggered in a bad way. I mean, it takes them back to the trauma they experienced. It is extremely common. Keeping the fathers out of the children's lives serves several purposes, selfish purposes. They can get benefits if they can without his input or guidance or his interference with any decision that she's making or anything like that. If she whatever she want to do, no matter how it affects her children, she doesn't want the fathers to have a say or to instruct her in any way about what's going on in a household that contains his children. Also, when he fights for them in the legal system, she actually puts up a big fight, if she can, to maintain this level of autonomy. The flip side of it is that when she restricts the father and practices parental alienation, sometimes to the point where the man just gives up, okay? The flip side of that is that she actually does not want the children and does not have the patience to raise children. Does not have the patience to raise children. So when you don't have the patience to raise children, you often will resort to either neglect or abuse of them because you're taking out your frustration. Women who neglect their children don't have the heart to physically abuse them, but the abuse occurs through the neglect. She will emotionally neglect them. She disengages from them completely. She makes a complete separation of herself from them. Okay? She pawns them off on people. She's not too concerned. You know, the grandma can have them for a week and aunties can have them and they can stay at their cousin's house for 2 weeks. They don't care. They don't care. As long as there's some cursory knowledge that they're vaguely all right, she'll just disengage. And she will go about, she's basically living a double life. She'll go and live another life. And then you've got the one that actively abuses, beatings and so forth, allowing other people to beat them, allowing people to essay them. Frustrated with them, disliking them, hating them because they hate the fathers, or they are bitter because they're not with the fathers. I just don't report it because it's so draining and so negative. I have seen videos recently of these young chicks having babies, and this baby couldn't have been no more than a few months old, an infant, and she was beating it and sending pictures to the father. And the pictures were graphic. Baby's face swole. She was beating it. And the text that she would send was telling him, I'm going to beat it every day until I kill it. Because I hate you. That kind of stuff. There was a similar story years and years ago where a man went to go and pick up his child and found that the child was clinging to life because she had beaten it. And he started, like, he was beating, he was wearing her out. The neighbors heard it, called the police. He gets arrested, but she gets arrested eventually too because, the condition of the child. No, he didn't do it. I cannot stress to you how common this is. We are a traumatized group of people. And it gets worse. I don't know if y'all know the Xers and maybe the older millennials. I don't know if y'all know just how bad these kind of like younger, almost into their third. I don't know if y'all know how bad these people live and how they don't know how to wash themselves and they live in these conditions. I can't even express it for real. You got grown folk that house look like that. And people trying to figure out why the kids didn't live better. And she really was like, screw them kids, because she stopped paying rent and everything. That's probably when they turned the water off and all that. Stop paying utilities and all that. She really was trying to like she was hoping that they was gone, that they were just gone and pass away. How is that boy supposed to grow up, finish growing up? How far behind the 8 ball is he psychologically? And somebody will expect him at 18 or 19 to have it all together. And it's not impossible for him to get it together. It's not impossible. But what do we think? Those girls are 12 and 13 right now. How far behind the 8 ball are these girls? Did not even so much as have a woman around them to tell them how to clean up their period and to take a pain pill when the cramps get bad and stuff like that. I don't know how the young men, the young ones, I read a lot of stories about how they be offing their kids, just off them, leaving with him. He like 20 years old. He trying to play his PS5 and the baby won't stop crying. I just seen a recent story. Deleted the baby. Just went in there and offed him. Broke his bones. Broke his neck. Left him in there. Went back in there and played the game. It's a demon out here, y'all. It has only gotten stronger over the generations, the demon. That is why spirituality is so important. Because these are demons. We surrounded. I don't know if people know how surrounded we are with these demons. People just look human. It's a lot of demons that's just got a human body on them. Thank you, HVAC. Say, yep, in Gen Z, we got dudes that's not ready for kids. Takes work. I'm 27, hear this all the time. Demons walking the earth. So I was gonna play a video, but I don't think I need to, and I don't have time anyway. Only if you have to be spiritually grounded. You know what I mean? Because believe it or not, Miss Nicole, some people cannot pick that up. Some people cannot pick that up. No, I'm not blaming the devil. I'm saying they are demons. That level of evil, they are the demon. They are the demon. Not influenced by the demon. They are the demon. Because that level of evil, it's just evil. It's just an evil. You got to keep your discernment up. You stay prayerful. Ask God for the discernment. Ask for clarity. Ask for guidance. Ask for direction. Ask for it on a daily basis. Ask for it. Don't assume that you're able to navigate it. Ask for it. Ask for the guidance. Ask for the clarity of sight. Ask for the clarity of mind. Ask for the clarity of spirit. The spirit of discernment is powerful. But we got to ask for that. We got to be living our lives in a way that allows that. Birds of a feather really do flock together. Predators move in flocks. Abusive people move in flocks. Demons are together. Demons go together. Anyway, I'm going to get on up out of here. Jump down into the comment section. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Once again, I'm your host, The Crimson Cure, and this was my perspective. Bye-bye, Crimsonites.